Testing, testing. I was muted. My bad. Just getting ready for dev chat, yeah? What have I done? I've done a pineapple. I've done Android back button. Support. WIP score display settings. That's the 3 things I've done. Not a lot, not a lot. Hardly anything, to be honest. Let's drop into the server.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Yo, John, how's it going?
Fine, busy.
Busy.
Always busy.
Always busy, that's right. Always busy. Always busy. Having any plans during the weekend? Have you had any plans during the weekend?
No.
No?
I was busy working.
Oh, right. You say you have a deadline, right?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't the deadline over?
Yeah, I watched it whoosh by. Yeah, the work is
The work is not over, but the deadline is over.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I have a bunch of deadlines.
Dead now.
You should be dead now.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Because you know that's what a deadline is, right? Like
That's
when you hit it, you die. What if you don't hit? Well, okay, never mind.
I wonder what how the phrase is coined, you know. How did it come about?
Yeah.
Why is it called a deadline? Hang on. Have you had any progress during the week for your multiplayer experiment?
Don't know if I would call it progress or regress.
Do tell.
It's not working, Jay.
It's not working. Wait, the replay system. Wait, you had the replay system last week, right?
The
rewinding is not working.
Yeah, the replay system was just I capture all your inputs
Every frame.
and then I can play it back from the start, right? From the origin, from the very first frame. I can play it all the way
Yes.
forward.
Yes, that was reliable, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And now I just need to get
Save states working.
yeah.
Yeah, what do you think are the challenges?
Keeping track of all the states of your stuff, I guess.
Keeping track of all the states of your stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Right. Well, when you say some things doesn't work, it means that you tested it and it's not working, right? Like what do you see on the screen when it's not working?
Oh, I'll show it to you.
Alright, right. Well, shall we begin? I think Devious is not here yet. Is he here? Is he here?
No,
we
he's
can,
not.
we can chat a little bit. Let's chat for 3 more minutes, and then we can start. Then I guess we will bring back the 20-minute per person thingy, so we don't go for far too long.
Yeah.
I have a slight headache anyway, so yeah, I do want to rest a little after this. So you say it's broken, and you want to show that later, right?
Yeah.
Is it a funny kind of broken, or is it sad?
It's a sad kind of broken.
So you can't even get some laughter out of it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So just yeah, sorry. Yes.
Oh no.
I was just wondering if you are saving the states every single frame.
Oh yeah. I'm saving the states everything, but oh man, I don't know if I'm doing it the right way. This is maybe a little harder than I thought.
Right. Even though it's a simple arcade game,
Yeah.
that alone is difficult enough, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the hard part is like when you create new objects.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you fire bullets.
Yes.
Then how do you rewind that?
You have to
So you,
rewind the physics as well, huh?
yeah. Well, rewinding the physics isn't so bad, but it's like when you create stuff, then you go backwards in time, then you have to uncreate it, right? And,
Oh yeah.
and then when you move forward, you kind of have to keep track of the thing that you created, I guess.
Right.
And then if you have a pool, it gets like really,
It's
really messy.
more
actually.
troublesome, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Because now you gotta keep track. Oh, it was this item in the pool. Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
So you in addition to the pool, you need another container.
I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe not. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not as easy as I thought. But I remember doing something about it the last time round.
Broilila in our last
Yeah.
experiment. Right.
Yeah, in our last experiment. I remember like I was keeping track of like the bullets and I was uncreating them, rewind and recreating them.
Yeah.
I just don't remember.
It's not like it's an important object, right? It's not like special effects where it can just be done locally.
Yeah. Like with special effects, you can, just let it run.
Yeah, just let it be, right? I mean, unless the special effect lasts a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that makes me also wonder, like, let's say you get every frame you're getting your second player's inputs over the network. And then you have to run. So like you run it for one frame. You. So like let's say you're at frame 100, right?
Yes.
Then but you only have received the other player's inputs up to frame 90. Then okay, on the next frame I
wait, sorry. How do you go from 100 to 90?
No. Let's say I'm currently running at frame 100.
Yes.
But.
Or you receive an outdated.
No. I let's say I've only received your inputs. Right? From my perspective, I've only received your inputs up to frame 90.
Okay.
Right, because network lag and all.
Yes.
So I only have your inputs up to frame 90.
Yes.
So, but I've been simulating your input. In my case, I'll probably just say it's all zero, like you didn't get any keys.
Yes.
All the way up to 100. Okay, so then on this frame, I get your frame 91.
Yes.
I got your input for frame 91.
But so you're at currently frame 100.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I have to go back to
10 frames back.
Yeah, frame 90.
Uh-huh.
Then I can simulate your input for frame 91. Then but I still have to run it all the way to frame 100, right?
Yes. And you at the same time you're also re-simulating your own input, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to run it through all the way to frame 100 to get my what I would like to see for this current frame. Right?
Yes.
Well, let's say you fired a bullet on frame 91. So that triggers some explosions.
Yes.
Then on frame 101, I received your input for frame 92.
So now you're going to have to redo everything from frame 92 onwards.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Right. Will you be running it? Sorry. Like, does it mean that you will almost certainly be recalculating every single frame?
Yeah. Like the last 10 frames.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but you only recalculate if the input on frame 92 that you simulated doesn't match with the one that just came in, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
If it matches, like let's say, I received your input for frame 92. Frame 92, actually, I simulated you didn't press any keys, and what you send me is you didn't press any keys, then I guess I don't have to do anything about it. I can just mark that frame as okay, this is confirmed, this is correct. I don't need to do anything.
That's true.
Yeah. But in any case, let's say at frame 95, I press like fire button. So then I have to spawn some sparks and stuff.
Okay.
But let's say like on frame 100, I receive frame 91's input, then I have to, go past that frame 95, so I spawn some sparks. Then after that, I do it again. Do I also spawn?
Wait, sorry. I don't follow the frame 95 thingy. Do you mind repeating that part?
Oh, let's say on frame 95, I actually press a button to fire.
Okay, you yourself press a button, yes.
Yeah. And then so that would spawn some sparks on frame 95, right?
Yes.
But because so that's my frame 95.
Yes.
But now we're currently at frame 100. And I received your input for frame 91. So I need to run through the simulation. All the way to 100, right? From 91 to 100.
That's right.
So that will run through that will go past frame 95, which spawns some sparks.
Yes.
Then on frame 101, let's say I receive your input for frame 92, then I have to simulate from frame 92 all the way to frame 100, right?
Yes.
101.
Yes.
And that will go past frame 95 again, right?
Yes. Then you spawn more sparks again. Right. But we are talking about sparks that are not gameplay critical, right?
Yeah, and I'm not tracking them, but
right.
But then you see the problem, right? Because
I see what you mean. I see the problem.
I was like pulling from the pool.
I see the problem. So in other words, we should just make all of those things be able to unspawn themselves.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Or am I overthinking it?
No, I don't think you are. I think that's a very good point. Yeah. Shin Spielger asked, right? It's like, may I know what the conversation is? It looks like a deep topic. So do you want to elaborate a little bit? Well, actually, we can use this chance for you to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Since we are past the time, right? Is Livius here?
No.
Yeah, I don't think he's here. So, yeah. 20 minutes, John.
So I am talking about this little game that Shinny and I made a long time ago.
Sorry, just one moment. Let me share the thing you're streaming. There we go.
Yeah. So we made a tiny little arcade game ages ago. It's called Standoff, and basically you have these two characters who shoot each other. They shoot each other. But I'm trying to turn this into a multiplayer game, a network multiplayer game, so I can play with someone over the internet. I've never really done a multiplayer game before, a network multiplayer game before. And so I'm taking this chance to learn. The cool new topic now is rollback networking, right? Rollback networking, which is kind of very popular by the names these days. Right? Popularized by Guilty Gear, was it?
Yeah.
So rollback networking basically is a method of trying to is a method for making network multiplayer games, in a sense, what do you call it? Smoother, I guess, or appear smoother. So you can go and look this up, GGPO, rollback networking.
It's all peer-to-peer, right, John?
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So like in traditional multiplayer games, network multiplayer games, you send like your change in state, and then a server somewhere broadcast it. And basically what you're sending is sending changes in state of all the objects in your scene from time to time. And sometimes it leads to very janky stuff going on.
Right.
But these days the hot topic is rollback networking, where you only send your inputs. You only need to send your player inputs. And and both sides will just simulate those inputs, and if the inputs arrive, so basically what happens is if your input arrives late, that doesn't matter. On my end, I will just pretend that you had a certain set of keys pressed. Depending on the game, you might say I want to just use the previous frame's key presses. In my case, I can just say, the player stopped pressing the keys.
Would you agree if I were to say that like this particular method, right, prevents those like very severe desyncing problems?
Yeah.
I guess it's also is it also generally faster since you're only sending inputs?
Yeah, it should definitely generally be faster because you only need to send the inputs that were pressed for that frame. Instead of sending, say, like if you did it the old school way, which is send deltas.
The entire send the data over, right?
Yeah, be sending like a delta, a change for every.
So what? Change in position, change in velocity, change in this, change in that.
Yeah.
Right. And it adds up, lah.
Yeah, it adds up. Yeah, if you had like 100, I don't know, soldiers on screen that you control, say you're doing an RTS, then.
Imagine sending all of that, right?
Yeah. Right. I guess the downside here is if you rely 100% on rollback networking, if you are not careful about making your simulation deterministic, then you could end up with very, very weird issues.
That's true.
Yeah, for example, if your computer and my computer we handle, say, like floating point calculations differently, then we could desync really, really badly and not know it. Right?
That's
I'm just
true.
sending I'm just sending my inputs to you, and then you simulate, but your floating point calculations are different.
Yeah.
Which could very well be the case, right? If you're playing on two different architectures or two different operating systems.
Yes.
Like I'm playing on PC versus you on a Mac or something. Or the other way around.
What do you think? Is there a good chance that tiny change can result in something breaking or desync?
Yeah. I think that was the case when I worked on Tory Bash.
Okay.
Working as an intern on Tory Bash.
Yes.
I would see like Hempa, the creator of Tory Bash, like he would have to run tests against the physics simulations all the time, and because I think tiny differences, because it's a physics-based game, right? Tiny differences in how your physics, your floating point calculations change, right? Tiny differences really, really adds up.
Right.
When you're using a physics engine.
I recall. I think you may have mentioned that like part of the criteria for testing is that every single replay data must still work, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely, almost exactly the same. I think what Hempa did, I'm not sure if this was the case, but I think what Hempa did was he would still send the positions of all the
to reset the stuff.
All the body parts.
Oh, I see.
From time to time.
Oh, it's a turn-based game, so it's fine, right? I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
But like say when a bug gets introduced, right, you can see the simulation. Like one player is supposed to win, but when you play it back, somehow it just explodes.
So Han was asking something. He says, I think there's batching or something, right? So I think he's referring to sending all the data over when we were talking about sending the deltas. So I imagine he meant something like packing the data together and compressing it. That's part of the standard practice, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
Right.
And then you don't have to send every frame either. Right? Sometimes you just need to
on change.
On the change, or rather, I think you send like a whole bunch of deltas every frame, but every once in a while, then you'd send like maybe a full state or something more.
A correction package.
Yeah, a correction package to sync everything out again.
I see.
I think so. I don't know. I'm super noob at multiplayer.
Oh man, that's why you're doing this experiment now, right? To learn.
Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So on the side of say using rollback networking, right? You have to code your game in such a way that it can roll back to any previous states. So I guess then now there's going to be a lot of load on the CPU, right?
yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
But hopefully it's not as like if your game is simple enough, I hope it doesn't.
Right, you know, we keep hearing rollback networking, and that's like almost every time we hear about that, it's almost always associated with fighting games, right? And I guess the states for fighting games probably isn't like as crazy as those huge sprawling open world multiplayer maybe. So has it been used outside of that particular genre?
That's a good question.
To some extent, maybe.
Well,
I mean, this is also a one-on-one game, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in versus.
Yeah.
Up to 4 players. Hey.
Oh, 4 players! Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a very localized kind of thing, right?
Has it? Do you think it's been used in first-person shooters?
That's a good question. In FPS. That's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Does rollback netcode also apply to other genre games? Shooters? Someone mentioned
rollback networking shooter. Wow.
But hey, who knows whether this guy actually completed the project?
You think he hasn't?
No idea. Let's check it out.
UE5. It's Unreal Engine 5.
It's a school project, I guess.
Oh, it's a school project.
Yeah. Honors project and dissertation.
Right.
Anyway.
Anyways.
Well,
well, I guess we'll get to your presenting the state of the game.
Yeah, it's completely broken. It's like now it's like do you see that?
Oh no! It's not broken.
I can't even go there.
It's doing stuff that it's not even supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and I'm stepping back through the code. I turn on debug mode, and now I'm stepping backwards. But it's now like completely broken.
It keeps going back to the aiming state. What's going on, John?
Oh no, because I mentioned before that I would have to write my own animation.
Oh yes. Have you?
Yeah. No, I have not. So this is relying on the
so all you know is just the animation being the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. And then like there's code in there that checks for the current frame of the animation.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm stepping back through the frames, but you can see the animation plays. Like it should stop, it should pause. But it's still moving back. It's still moving.
How about functionality? Like shooting a bullet? Oh, it's not moving. Oh, are you just pausing? You're pausing. Okay.
I'm pausing, but okay. So I'm stepping backwards in time. But you can see that the bullet is actually
it's moving forward. so much for stepping backwards.
It should be turned in the game by itself, like, oh, everything moves backwards in time, but you can move forward in time or something.
Well, are you trying to do like what, Tenet the game? You know Tenet? Tenet?
Yeah, the movie, right?
The Chris Nolan movie, yeah.
I have not watched it.
Neither have I, but I've seen like a few fight scenes and it's crazy.
That sounds really cool. Maybe it's something worth looking into.
Maybe. You want to explain for everyone viewing what it was that you're trying to do just now? Like this thing, right? How does it relate to your experiment with rollback networking?
Right, so I wanted to be able to step backwards in time to a previous frame, to an earlier frame, and then restore the state for that frame.
Right. Because you have to do that first in order to do the rewinding, right? The recalculation, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, so to simulate the player's inputs back to the current frame when you receive a new frame
Yes.
for a new input for a given frame from the player on the other side of the network.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, I want to step back in time to a frame where I know that I've really got all the inputs, and then I receive a new input for player 2 over the network, and then I would have to key that in and then run the simulation up to the current frame that I am at.
Right.
So I'm at frame 100. I've only received your inputs up to frame 90, and now I receive your input for frame 91. Then I need to go back to frame 90 and simulate. Okay, frame 91 got this input. This is the current state. This is the new state. Then I go frame 92. I don't have your input, but I just pretend it's all zeros. And 93, 94 all the way to frame 100, and I'm back at what I should be displaying.
So
for this current
from the player's point of view, they will always be at frame 100, right? It's just that within that single frame, you re-simulated the last 10 frames with the correct input.
Yeah, for your frame 91.
Right.
Yeah. And then later on, I'll receive more inputs from you, and then I have to re-simulate all the way to my current frame.
Sounds fantastic, John.
Sounds like a pain.
I'm so glad to see it working so well here, John. It's not easy. It's obviously not easy.
Broken.
But how long have you worked on this particular issue?
This particular issue?
One day?
About 2 hours.
2 hours? Obviously, you can get anything done in 2 hours. 2 hours?
Yeah, 2 hours this morning.
Oh my god, John. You really don't have time for anything.
Yeah.
So Shakespeare is asking, how? Hang on, how is it like to code and make games on a Mac machine, a Mac system?
It's fine. I think it's fine. Like you shouldn't take me as an example because I am the guy who does everything in my terminal. And,
right, he's a Vim. He likes Vim. He Vims everything.
Vim.
Yeah. Vim is like 50% of his personality.
Only 50. I give you 100. But no. I think tools like Godot works for the Mac. Game Maker works on the Mac too. Game Maker. I don't know about Apple Silicon Macs, but I think it runs fine on an Apple Silicon Mac.
Right.
Yeah. So it's actually fine. It's actually perfectly fine. As long as you're not making a AAA title, I think it'll be fine. The tools that you need are all kind of here. Like I think Spriter, Pixel Edit.
Right.
I think Pixel Edit works fine too. But Pixel Edit. I have Pixel Edit here.
Very nice. Very nice.
Not that I use it.
Yeah, I think people Pixel Edit has pretty much stopped updating, so I think people are using Ace right now.
Yeah. But you're still using Pixel Edit, right?
I am still using Pixel Edit because I'm so used to the workflow, but there are a lot of missing features that I wish would be implemented, but I don't think it's getting implemented. Yeah, partly because I don't think it's bringing enough money for the creator. Yeah.
Yeah. Sprite is available on Mac. Yeah. So what the tools you need are here. And I like that I have access to a very nice console terminal, I guess.
Right.
All my tools that I need to do stuff, grab, Vim, stuff are all here. So.
Well, the terminal is better than the Windows command prompt, right?
Yeah. I mean, like if you need scripts, right? You need to write scripts at least. At least it's not that much of a pain. Batch files are.
Batch. Oh, you don't like batch files.
Yeah.
Right.
Although these days you can use PowerShell on Windows, so.
Right.
And then there's also Windows, the Windows subsystem for Linux. So, yeah.
So it's not as much of a problem anymore.
It's not as much of a problem, yeah.
Right.
So Windows is fine, Mac is fine. I just prefer the Mac. That's all.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't play, as long as you're not a PC gamer, Mac is fine, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't get any games here.
Yeah. Damn, John, why don't you get a proper gaming PC? Then we can play something.
Okay. Maybe I'll get a Steam Deck.
Han says Windows and Linux in one sentence is haram.
I don't know. I use sometimes I use the Windows subsystem for Linux. And it works perfectly fine. Yeah.
Sorry. So Shin Spiegel says, right, I'm very often criticized for coding and making games on Mac. The reason why I got, or that's the reason why they asked the question.
Right. So yeah, there's nothing wrong. The only problem, I guess, is just that there's no way for you to test it on Windows, I guess.
Do you think you can run Visual Studios on the Mac?
There is Visual Studio for Mac, but it is not your home, your mama's.
Not full-fledged. Not full-fledged.
Yeah, it's not full-fledged because Visual Studio for Mac is actually it's actually ported from what do you call it? It's actually was it mono developed?
Yes.
Yeah. So like Visual Studio for Mac is actually a reskin of mono developed. So it's not like proper Visual Studio.
So that whoa. That sounds like Microsoft bought them over.
Yeah, they did.
Oh.
Or yeah, kind of, yeah.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
So they bought it over and then they tweaked it to be closer to Visual Studio. But
Right.
It's not the Visual Studio you have from knowledge.
But if they brought it over, does it mean that the API like for like Mono and the XNA stuff is matching now?
The API from Mono.
You know they had the XNA game framework, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think like Mono was supposed to be like a open source implementation of the XNA framework.
Yeah. So Mono is Mono is not an implementation of the XNA.
Oh, it's the .NET.
Mono is it's an open source implementation of the .NET framework.
Right, my bad.
Yeah. Then there is like a
Mono game.
Mono game, yeah.
Mono game is XNA, right?
Yeah, it's XNA. Yeah.
Right. My bad.
Yeah. But today the .NET framework is almost like today there's .NET Core, which pretty much runs on all platforms. It's just that, yeah. So .NET Core versus .NET, the .NET framework. .NET Core is like supposed to be the future for it, yeah. Cross-platform. But I think it's still lacking like in the UI stuff, like the GUI stuff.
I see.
Yeah, it's more like command line stuff, server stuff.
So it's still a work in progress.
Yeah. But like the core functionality is there. But then again, I think even Unity is like still stuck on Mono or something like that.
Yeah.
Or at least an older version of .NET.
Right.
So they rely on like Xamarin to
I haven't seen that name in a long time.
To get stuff on, say, the Mac and mobile platforms.
Xamarin is now a part of .NET. Wait, what is Xamarin again?
Xamarin was like it says over here, Xamarin is a Microsoft-owned San Francisco-based software company. They created Mono, Xamarin Android, and
Xamarin iOS. Right.
Yeah, so it's like supposed to be an implementation of .NET, but for the platforms that .NET did not support. So they created Mono. The original company created Mono, and then for the Mac and for Android and iOS, they created Xamarin.Mac, Xamarin.Android, Xamarin iOS.
Didn't they have their own IDE at one point?
Yeah, which I think was mono developed.
Ah, yes, right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft bought them over in 2016 apparently.
I remember using it when I was working on Tiny Dice Dungeon at one point. I think. Oh, that's really long ago.
So so like if you work on Mac, you have mono develop, which is just like feels very janky compared to Visual Studio.
Poor man's version of Visual Studio.
Poor man's version of Visual Studio.
Ah.
It's getting better, but it's like yeah, Visual Studio for Mac is getting better, but yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's the downside if you're on the Mac. You don't get like really cool tool like Visual Studio, which apparently is now like getting. I recently read there's like Visual Studio. Oh no, you can use Visual Studio Code for Unity.
Yeah.
Yeah, they recently like upgraded the plugins. So Unity development with VS Code is like getting even better.
I'm starting to see students using this instead of just Visual Studio.
Upper VS, right? Yeah.
More lightweight, I suppose.
Yeah. You don't install like gigabytes of data.
Yeah. That's cool. I do wonder if if you want to run the debugger, whether you still have access to it.
In VS Code?
Yeah.
Apparently now you can. They have like a Unity for Visual Studio. Now, so there was this like Unity for Visual Studio Code extension, but I think now it's superseded by like the Visual Studio.
So wait, you're saying that extension will come with the debugger?
Yes, I think so. Like it says over here, debugging.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, you can,
right.
So yeah, you can actually just start the debugger with your Visual Studio Code now.
So no reason to download Visual Studio then. Just use Visual Studio Code. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Press F5 to start a debugging session. Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if this works for Mac. Haven't tried.
Shin has some opinions about VS Code. VS Code is cancer. The amount of trouble I went on this software because it's an embedded browser.
Yeah, so VS Code runs on Electron.
Okay.
Basically, it's Electron is a way for you to. It's just a repackaging of Chrome. Right? Electron.js. Electron lets you write HTML and all that, and it packages it up with the Chrome browser, Chromium browser engine. So you can create a UI with JavaScript and HTML.
So the entire text editor is running in a web environment.
Yes.
Oh, why would that cause problem?
Nah, I don't think it really causes a huge problem. Well, one thing is just memory usage. Like VS Code eats up a lot of
memory.
But it's like VS Code uses the same amount or maybe more. So,
Right. Han says get Tauri. Is it Tauri or Tauri better than Electron?
Tauri is like a Rust-based like framework for building like your UIs with JavaScript. TypeScript. It's Rust-based. I think Tauri uses the native the system's native web view.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not wrong, which is how it gets smaller. But I think the downside is that so it says here like Tauri depends heavily on WebView 2 to render on Windows. So your Windows has to have like WebView 2 installed. You can't really guarantee that. So
so the problem is with the setting up?
Yeah, the problem is like when you distribute you have to distribute an extra thing. This evergreen bootstrapper. You need your users to download something extra to get it to work on an older Windows version. So like Windows before Windows 10, 1803, before Windows 11.
Right.
Yeah, they would need to install something extra to get the thing to work, your application to work.
Right.
Yeah. But the good thing is that it's smaller because your executable is smaller because it's using the system native web view to display the UI. Whereas with Electron, you are basically packaging the entire Chrome or Chromium browser.
The rendering is done by the Chrome itself.
Yeah, the Chrome engine.
You're saying using the native web view, does it mean that you are going to be more susceptible to like differences in the way things display on different machines?
Oh yeah, I imagine. Write once, debug everywhere, all over again.
Okay.
Which is why, if you go with Electron, it's easier because at least you pretty much know that is how it's going to render. You see it once, and pretty much 90% of the time it's going to be what you get on the other platform.
Right. John. So 20 minutes is up. Long done actually. Do you want to talk about what you want to do next?
What I want to do next is get this to work, not break.
Okay.
Broken.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is broken.
Yeah.
Whew. All right.
Stop streaming.
All right. Okay, it's my turn. I don't have a lot to show, John. I will try and get it over with. Let me start my timer as well. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep.
So about of my week was spent on school stuff, so I don't have a lot of time. But I will show you what I've done. The biggest thing I've done this week is this.
Pineapple.
The pineapple! Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Show you pineapple. So now you can play as a pineapple. So it's done because someone requested it. Someone in our server by the name of Pinap. Yeah. The Pinap suggested adding a pineapple, so I added a pineapple. That's it. That's one thing that I've done. There's another thing. Sorry?
Just to diss pineapple, you should call it ananas.
Ananas. Yeah. No, maybe not. We'll see. That was actually a request for me to draw a pizza saw blade, right? But if you take a look at the resolution of the saw blade, how do you squeeze enough detail in there, right? So that it comes across as a convincing pizza. Do you think it's possible?
Maybe a pizza slice.
A slice, but a slice is not it's not circular, right?
Or you could cut out a slice from the pizza, I guess.
Oh, so it looks like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I'll still run into the same problem of like
Pac-Man with reddish core and yellowish outside and
ananas. Yeah. Sorry, just reading the chat. Shin says ananas. That's pineapple, right? In
many languages.
Many languages, except for English. Han says, what's next? A sponge. A sponge. I can just draw a square and then say that's a sponge. Get it over and done with.
Find out about your cheese.
Cheese? Have you seen cheese? Hang on. Cheese is. What's the damn cheese? Cheese.
Yeah, sponge.
Sponge.
Yeah, you have it.
This was also done on the request by C4 in the server. Yeah, there's a few that is based on requests. Anyways, we have our ananas. I will show you something else. I added for Android, better back button support, because I realized I forgot to do it for certain states. So like yeah, boo. Like for example, I can go into the menus, right? I can go really deep into the menu, and if I press the back button on Android, the expectation is to go out, right? So for certain states, I forgot to do it. Now I've added it, so that's just a very small thing. Another thing I've done, right, is this. So you see that there is this option called score display, and it looks like this now.
It's score display.
Huh?
It says score display.
Oh no, I mean it's it's purposely abbreviated. Yeah, for why do you think I abbreviated it?
Because you can't spell.
Because I've got no damn space in here. Look at this, John. I can't even see the arrows when I move my cursor to timeout. You see that? Yeah, it's so. The space is so.
Like you can still put an A there.
If I put an A there, then
not this one, but score display.
But why would I do it so inconsistently, right? Like some of them it's called display, the other one is called display. Right? Might as well just get them all the same.
I know why. I know you can't spell.
What? anyways.
Yeah, anyway.
So you see this thing called score display. So if I go in, you'll see this is the menu here. This is a work in progress. But I have added this preview now, right? You see this preview of how the game looks like with the score. And if you turn it off, right, you also turn off here. And the reason why I'm adding this is because I want to add the position and scaling support for the score display. That is also based on one person's request. And occasionally, right, you get this request and you feel like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. I should get it done. So yeah, this is one of the requests that I feel like I should probably address it because it looks like it could be useful for other people. So
I don't really see like why you need it. Okay.
You don't see why?
I don't see why it makes sense to it's a
no. So like there are some people. Okay, so the visibility was added because
yeah, okay, that I understand.
You understand that, right?
It's stressful to see the score, yeah.
Right, but there are also people who find the score, right, as it is now to be somewhat distracting. So like their eyes get how do I put it? Like the score would divert their attention, right, from the action. For some people, right, obviously, I think that's for a minority of people, but it's still worth addressing. And they're saying that we still want the score, but can I make it less prominent? Yeah, so so I thought I'll add it, and it's for accessibility, so might as well, right? So I say yes, I'll do it, and now I'm doing it. I'm working on it, but it's not done yet. So these two options does nothing, and I will be working on it after this chat, yeah, and hopefully I can get it done soon and ready for the next update. Yeah, no, Han says I turn off score. Yeah, so there are definitely people.
Yeah, I can turn off score. That I can understand. I can totally relate.
Yeah, well, like you just don't feel the need to adjust the positions and skills. Yeah. Right. Shin says the game is so juicy I can almost drink it. Hey, thank you so much, Shin. Glug, pineapple juice. Yes. Anyways, that's all I have, John. So going forward, I will have to finish up that particular menu. Right, I will finish up this particular menu, and I want to start writing the structure needed to support a new game mode, right? Because like for different game modes, there might be some variations to how the game is displayed, right? Or how do I check, or I might need to have a different spawner and stuff. And I don't want to just copy and paste this entire game state and then make some changes over there, and that's like ultimately not scalable. So I want to I guess just think about how I should structure my code. So I'll be starting work on that. And if I have time still next week, I want to make the new enemy for my new prototype. Yeah, not new prototype, but the that shooting game that I'm working on. Yeah, I still haven't gotten around to it, so hopefully I'll have time for it soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We're done, John.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Devious is not coming, I think. Probably overslept. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's always an issue with what do you call that? Time zones, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of time, do you think we need to reschedule this anytime soon? Not yet? Yes? Yes, no?
Yeah, maybe.
Not yet, maybe. Let us know when we need to reschedule. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Shin says this is a week meet for updates. Ah, that's right. I think when did we started this thing, John? Before COVID, right?
Oh, ages ago, yeah.
Ages ago, right? I think we started before COVID, but then we really brought it back during the COVID phase, right? Because we were working on something together at that point, right? And then we couldn't meet up, right?
Yeah.
And then we said, hey, let's keep working on our own stuff, and then we'll talk about it on a weekly basis. So this game dev chat is supposed to keep us accountable, right? Because it's very easy to what do you call that? Procrastinate, right? And then not have any progress during the week. Yeah, so I think it has been useful, right? Even if our progress is like very, very small, it's still progress. It's still better than just like not doing anything.
Yeah, 2 hours a week is better than 0 hours a week.
Yeah, but I imagine once you start to settle down, you will have more time. Can I assume that? You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you start having kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all time flies out the window.
We'll see. Alright. Shall we close it up?
Yep.
Let's talk about what you do.
I will fix the janky, broken code with rollback thing.
Yes, I think that alone is probably a very sizable task, right?
I think so.
Yeah, but I think you need more than just 2 more hours, John. I think you need to allocate more than 2 hours for this.
You think?
You think? Yeah. As for me, well, I just mentioned it, right? So I will finish up this settings page, and I will, and if I have the time, cause I will have to work on my the prototype, and I also have to start thinking about the structure of my code for adding additional game modes. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you, Han, and thank you, Shin. Thanks for hanging around. We do appreciate it. Hang on. Yeah, I guess we'll end it here, John. See you next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you next week.
All right. Bye. I guess thanks everyone. We'll run the outro, and we hope to see you again very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Hang on. Let me end the stream.